Okay, so I should now be streaming live on Facebook and also streaming live on YouTube, coming via my webinar platform, because they launched, we're in beta test with this at the moment, so they launched it last night. The person who owns, the CEO of the software program, he's just come back to me. I've had to laugh in terms of what he said. Let me find it. So I found a link or something. He says, laugh out loud, you are fast, Marilyn Devonish. This is a special feature that we just rolled out last night and we haven't had the chance to announce it yet. So even though they haven't announced it yet, I found the feature. I would say I'm definitely pretty good at software and finding things and troubleshooting. So if you ever need to hire anyone to do that for you, then you know where to find me. But they've just launched it so that from my webinar platform, at the click of a button, I can go live on Facebook. I can also do live stream to YouTube. So what I'm going to do, actually, let me turn down the sound to make sure we don't get crazy echo. What I am going to do is I'm just going to have a look at my Facebook page and just see if I am streaming. And then I'm going to have a look at my YouTube page and see if I'm streaming. Yes, I can see myself on Facebook. So let me just see also if I can see myself on YouTube. And then we're ready to rock and roll. What I thought we might do is just a little bit of a HUNA update, because, and HUNA, for those of you who've never heard of it before, is HUNA, because it seems to be going crazy at the moment in terms of the feedback, people finding it, watching some of my old videos on YouTube. It's all been quite amazing. Now, let me just see if I go to my channel, does it show me what I'm streaming? My channel, let's see, just out of interest. And even if it's not, I can sort this out later. Simulcast. Oh, it says I am live. So that's cool. I think we're cooking with gas. And I'm not logged into Facebook on my desktop. So actually, I might log into my Facebook on desktop, and maybe then I can see the, I can look at any comments. So let me just see. Actually, I'm just troubleshooting. This isn't a real webinar, you know what I mean. So let me just see what happens when I run that, because I haven't got volume on, so I shouldn't get a double echo, which is one of the things they warn you about. That said, yeah, my volume is off. So it might be then that I go to my page to see the comments. So let me do that. And then once I'm happy that we're all set and we're all good to go, we'll start with a bit of the HUNA stuff, and I'll just give you an update in terms of where we're at the moment and what's been happening with that, because it has been pretty amazing. Right, so I'm into Facebook. I can see that. Now I know also there is a 20-second delay in terms of what I say and what you will hear. And so I will just kind of keep that in mind when asking questions or that sort of thing. So let me just go, hi Dee Dee. So Dee Dee says hi. Anik says, at least I'm on Facebook. Hey Anik, so thank you for that. Just double checking in terms of where it's all at. So I want to share something with you. It's going to maybe sound miraculous, but it's not for me, because I have seen this in action for the past 18 years. And I am still, even though it's not miraculous in my day-to-day world, I'm still blown away by the power of this. And I'm going to have to read it to you. So I'm going to flip out of here and I'm going to go to my testimonials page. Right, so I was the MC at an event a couple of weeks ago, the TCCHE, the Conference for Consciousness and Human Evolution. And I was sitting at the back of the room on the Friday, it runs Friday to Sunday. And I just thought, man, I feel tired, I feel heavy, I feel oppressed. It's nothing to do with the event, it was just the vibe that I was feeling in terms of the energy of the room. And it could be down to whoever had used the room before us. I don't know, didn't get into that. But I then sort of said to the organizer, do you mind if I just do a couple of minutes of HUNA, H-U-N-A, for those who are just joining us, who haven't heard of it before, do you mind if I do a couple of minutes of HUNA before, before we do the next segment? I didn't tell him why, I just sort of said, is that okay? And he said, okay, yeah. So I probably did about, I don't know, 3-4 minutes, something like that, and didn't give another thought. We just went straight into the next speaker, who was Lynn McTaggart, talking about the power of 8. And in the break, people started coming up and going, oh my God, when you did the Huna, I felt this. Somebody said I had neck ache and backache. And as soon as you started the Huna, I felt the pain disappear. Somebody else said I was feeling, because I did it on the Saturday. Somebody else said I was feeling completely overwhelmed. I wasn't even sure if I was going to come back to the conference today. And as you were doing the Huna, I just felt the confusion lifting. I feel really energized. Somebody else was saying, actually, it's a guy I met on the tube on the Monday. He said, when I started doing the Huna, he was a bit like, what the hell is she doing? What is this? This is crazy. So he's just sat there a bit nonplussed by the whole thing. But he'd been moving house that day and had strained his back. And he said, oh, I started doing the Huna. He said, my back, the pain just started to disappear. And I was like, what the hell's going on? And he looked around, and because he's an AI, artificial intelligence engineer. So Huna, totally not his bag. And he said he looked around and he was almost embarrassed to say anything because he couldn't believe what he'd experienced. And this was on the Saturday, and I met him on the Monday at about 8 p.m. in Gloucester Road tube station. And he's like, it's you, isn't it? And I went, it depends what I've done. And he relayed this whole story, and he was just beaming. He said, I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. And some of you might have seen the interview, the YouTube interview that I did with Mark. I posted it a couple of days ago. And one of the reasons he invited me to do the interview was because on the Sunday, it was a Sunday, he was in his room doing his morning meditation, and he came up to me in the room. He said, I saw you this morning. And I was like, well, here I am. And I was thinking, what's he talking about? And then he explained, he said, I was doing my morning meditation, and he said, as clear as day, like HD, I saw you doing the Huna in the room. And I said, okay. And I said, what time was that? Because at about 10 to 7 that morning, I just thought, better get up. My snooze goes for 10 minutes. And then I started doing the Huna from the room, because Huna, those of you who have experienced it before, you'll know you can do it remotely. So I'm in my hotel bedroom on the 4th floor. He was on the 3rd floor. I'm in my bedroom, lying in bed, Hunaing the room. And he could see me, and he was describing what I was doing. And he says, there are only 2 or 3 times in my entire life I've had that kind of experience. And that was one of them. And he said, I saw you as clear as day doing the Huna. So at the exact time I was doing it and Hunaing the room remotely, he could see me, which is just amazing and fantastic. And one of the things, and it happened when I did it last year, because last year, just as I was about to go on stage to introduce the next speaker, the organizer said, we've just found out there are a group of people from Grenfell Tower downstairs. Can you lead some sort of guided process or meditation? And I'm like literally just walking on stage and like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And so I did some meditation. I thought it might be nice to do a bit of Huna as well, just to heal the energy. And after that time in 2017, people were coming up to me and describing to me what they felt. And it was in alignment with the symbols that I'd use. And even if you know Huna, and none of them did, you wouldn't have any idea really what I was doing, because all the symbols sound the same. Because you draw them on the breath, you deliver them on the breath. And so all the group heard, they might have seen me waving my hands about. I know many people had their eyes closed, but all they would have heard is that. Yet people were saying, when you started, I felt like this waterfall. And I'd started with the water symbol. Somebody else said, oh, you know, a minute or so in, I felt this heat. That's when I did the fire symbol. Somebody else said, oh my God, I just felt enveloped. And that's when I did the cloak of light. And people were describing to me what they felt. And it was in alignment with what I'd done in the Huna. Same thing happened again this year. People stopping me. One woman said, oh my God, I could feel like little spiders moving on my head. You started the Huna and my energy. It was just crazy. And Mark had also seen an interaction that I had with someone on the Saturday night. It might have been the Friday or the Saturday. No, it might have been the film. No, the film was on the Saturday night, because that's when we did the speaker's dinner. So on the Saturday night, but I think I might have spoken to him on the Friday. But either way, the Friday or the Saturday night, there was a guy who had just flown in from Hong Kong. And, you know, said, hey, how you going? Have you had a good day? And he said, oh, I'm so tired. I've got jet lag. I've just flown in from Hong Kong to London. I don't know if I can stay for tonight. And I think it was the night of the movie, actually. It was either the movie or the speaker panel. I think it was the movie. And I said, well, would you like some Huna? And he went, what's that? I said, oh, it's just some energy stuff. And he went, okay, what do I have to do? And I said, nothing, just stand there. So he's standing in front of me. I'm doing the do that for about a minute. And then I just stopped, and he just looked at me and he went, Huna is better than Starbucks. And the group who was with him, they just burst out laughing. Saw him the next night. How you doing? This was in the evening again. He's like, Huna is better than Starbucks. Saw him on the Monday, still the same. He was buzzing. And so it has been pretty incredible from that perspective and that point of view. And so what I'm going to read to you is an email that I received from someone who was in the audience, didn't know anything about Huna. So she says, and she's given me permission to share this. I won't share her name, but I said to her, is it okay to share? So she says, hello, Marilyn. And I received this on the 3rd of November. And this event was at the end of October. So she says, hello, Marilyn. I attended the 4-day TCCHE event a couple of weeks ago. And although I found the speakers fascinating, your Huna work had the most profound effect on me. Bearing in mind, I did 3 minutes. She said, I did speak to you at the event, bracket, in the ladies, exclamation mark. And lots of people did stop me in the ladies because that's normally the only time you could get hold of me, and explained how I felt the energy around me and the sense of calm. But since that time, I'm quite amazed at what has happened. I have endured menopausal hot flushes for 3 years. And the last 8 months have been intense, occurring approximately every 30 minutes. I feel her pain. I had a little bout of hot flushes in May of this year. Brutal. She says, a few months ago, I bought every supplement I could find, and they did help to reduce the hot flushes to about 6 per day. However, when they occurred, they were still intense. And at night, I was still waking up sweating and not able to sleep. I know that feeling too. Had a few of those. She says, the day after the Huna, I noticed at the event, I only had about 4 hot flushes. And since then, they have reduced further and further and are not as intense. But the most amazing thing is that for the last 6 days, I have somehow forgotten to take any supplements, and I'm not sweating at all at night, and I'm sleeping so much better. She says, obviously, I know the menopause is not an illness, but it was impacting my life negatively. So this is wonderful. I thank you because I did not expect to have this amazing transformation. And I can only think it is your Huna that created this. Many thanks again. She then messages me again saying what was in a second email a bit later. She said, yes, it's fine if you can share my story. And then she said, what was interesting on the first day, I sat next to a lady, brackets, who I only met at the event, who was also having hot flushes. So we kept laughing as we shared my fan to cool off. But she missed your Huna work. And I noticed the next day she did keep using the fan, whereas I only, whereas I only needed it a couple of times, because even the next day, my flushes were not as intense as they had been. Even though I was hot, I didn't need the fan, exclamation mark. And so that is amazing. And I actually spoke to her today. So she sent me that email on the 3rd of October. Today in real time, if you're watching this in real time, it's the 15th of November. She says, Marilyn, I still haven't needed to take any supplements. And she said, I'm sat here right now in a night dress and my little socks. And normally she, in terms of sleeping, she is soaking wet and cannot sleep. She hasn't had any night flushes either. So that is pretty amazing in terms of the Huna energy work. And I did, let me see some of it. I might be able to, what did she say today? If I wrote it down in a way that I can be quick with it. Oh, yeah, so she was describing that when I was doing it, she was one of the people who also described what was going on with the energy around her. But she said, today, she said, because we did an individual session by telephone, she says, wow, that was amazing and totally different to the conference. It was personal. It felt like, and then she went quiet. She said, I can't explain. She said the top of my head was like, it was opening up like a big funnel. and it was pulsating, and that was phenomenal. And she said the first third of the access consciousness, she felt like she was spinning and wanted to jump off her sofa and say hell yes, because that's the bit where we do the right and wrong, good and bad, or 9 pod pop, shorts, boys and beyond. So that was it. And she said that was absolutely amazing, Marilyn. And she said with the menopause thing, it is still working, and the better it gets, the better it gets. It is absolutely wonderful. And so she says, look, I think I was at the conference just to find out about Huna, because you know it's changed her life. And so that was absolutely fantastic. The power of just a few minutes of Huna. So yeah, it's been pretty amazing to say the least. Hang on, let me just double check that. Let me just do that. So yeah, it's been pretty amazing, pretty fantastic. Absolutely love Huna. It's challenging to have a favorite, like a favorite modality. I do about 20 different modalities in terms of being a trainer or a practitioner in them. And to say that I have a favorite would be challenging. But if I were just to pick do my top 3 or my top 5, Huna would totally, absolutely be right up there, because it is just incredible, absolutely incredible. And I was sharing with a couple of the clients that I had today my first experience of, I know the power of Huna. I knew the power of Huna. I knew it worked remotely. And I was sharing with them one of the experiences I had, probably something like 2004, 2005, something like that, where I'd done a session with a friend who had phoned up saying they were suicidal. They were phoning to say goodbye because they're going to kill themselves. And I had said, look, I'm really busy at the moment. I was in the middle of writing a proposal when I was doing a lot of the management consultancy work. I work in central and local government, so you can't just rock up and deliver, project management stuff or executive coaching or training or leadership development. You've got to write proposals. So I was right in the middle of writing a proposal. It needed to go off to the person who's going to write the next section the next day. And I'd been on site. I think at that point I was working for the Department of Transport, running a flexible working project with them. So I said to her, look, can you hold off killing yourself until tomorrow? And tonight I will send you some Huna. Now, she had been drinking. She was drunk, barely knew what I was saying, but she's like, yeah, whatever. So that night, I'm writing the proposal. I'm probably working till about midnight, 1 a.m., something like that. I then go upstairs, go to bed, and I just fell asleep. I was just like gone. Suddenly woke up at about 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, oh my God, I didn't do the Huna. So I'm sat in bed. So I'm thinking about the person. I've got an image of them in my mind, and I'm imagining them in front of me, and I'm doing the Huna, and I go back to sleep. Next morning, look at my email, around about 8 a.m. There was a message from my friend who was thankfully still alive, and she is still alive to this day in 2018. If you're watching this in real time. And she said, really sorry about last night. I'd had too much to drink, been really depressed over the breakup of this relationship. And she said, but this is the point where you tell me I'm crazy. And then she said, at 3 o'clock this morning, which is the time I was doing the Huna, she would have had no idea what time I was doing it. She said, I just suddenly felt completely calm, completely relaxed, and I had the best night's sleep I've had in weeks. And that's when I relayed the story of what had happened with me going to bed, falling asleep, waking up at 3 a.m. And that was the thing that cemented it for me, in terms of I already knew that Huna transcends time and space. And that just reminded me of the power. And since that time, I don't know what it is about me in Australia. A lot of the clients who do my remote stuff or do the photo reading intro DVD are in Australia. And, if I'm doing a coaching program with someone, so we're working together on an ongoing basis, there are times where they'll pop into my head. And if they pop into my head 3 or 4 times, that's when I will pay a bit more attention. And I remember the first time I did it, I thought, oh, that's interesting. I'll just send them some Huna. We're on different time zones. I'm in the UK, they're in Australia. They've got no idea where I am or what I'm doing. And I decided just to send them some Huna remotely. Received an email from them going, did you do some Huna today? Because I felt it. And I was like, oh man, that's just crazy. But not crazy when you think about the way that energy works. And so Huna for me has been an absolute powerhouse. wonderful for working with groups, because when I was doing it for the group at the TCCHE, the Conference Consciousness and Human Evolution, there were about 550 people in the audience, and they all got something different. And I was saying to a client today, I don't drink, but I remember the advert. There was a company called Heineken. Well, there probably still is a company called Heineken. And their slogan back in the day was Heineken refreshes the parts other beers cannot reach. And I feel the same way about Huna in terms of the way the energy works. It does the most miraculous things. And I hold an intention that goes out behind it, which is why everyone would get the thing that's right for them. But even just to see it in action, to hear about it, to get the feedback is always absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. So what I'm going to be doing, we are going to do some Huna at the Mind Body Spirit Energy Fest workshop in 2 weeks, running it in the first weekend of December. God, we're in year number 8 now. That is just incredible. So we're going to be, of course, doing some Huna there. We always do the Huna belief change session on my photo reading workshops as well. So I've got a deal coming up for that on Black Friday if you'd like to join me next year. And I'm also going to be running a Huna workshop next year as an in-person workshop. And I'm also going to run a video webinar version. So what I'll do after this video is I'll put a link in the comments and a link in the description of the YouTube video if you would like to join me for either the in-person workshop or the live stream. With the in-person workshop, what I'm going to be doing is going back to the people who have registered their interest already and go with the majority in terms of having the group pick a date that everyone can do if they still want to attend. With the live stream, I'll just probably randomly pick a date, because the beauty of the live stream is even if you can't make all of it live or you can't make any of it, there will be a recording of it. So that's what's coming up. And also at the end of February, the last Wednesday in February, year 2019, I'm also going to be speaking at the London Yes Group, and it's going to be on Huna. And we're going to be looking at the real depth of Ho'oponopono, because Ho'oponopono, the way I was taught it, goes way beyond just the words. I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you. And there's a whole process that sits behind Ho'oponopono, and bringing in the Huna guides and cutting the connections. And so I'm going to be doing a talk for the London Yes Group on that the last Wednesday in February. I think it's the 27th of February 2019. Let me just double check. So I've started to fill up my diary for then. So yes, Wednesday, the 27th of February, 2019, I'll be doing the talk at the London Yes Group. So that's an evening talk. It starts at 7 p.m, runs through till 10 p.m. And there are 2 keynote speakers, of which I'm one. And there are other things that also happen on the night as well. So if you're already a Yes Group, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, it is the most wonderful and welcoming community. And even if you're going on your own, you will not be short of friends. It's hugs all round, everywhere you look. It's a really fantastic environment. So even if you thinking, oh, I haven't got anyone to go with, just come along, because you will definitely make some new friends. And some of the friends that I've got, there's a group of us that we have a private Facebook group as well. I met them via the Yes Group, and we've been the best of friends since then. So amazing, wonderful people. So come along and join us for that as well. And if you've got any questions, if you've got any queries about Huna, then drop me an email, marilyn@transformationstm.com. Marilyn is MARILYN at trance, TRANCE, as in hypnotic trance, formations, FORMATIONS, TM as in trademark.com. So marilyn@transformationstm.com, and the website is www.transformationstm.com. Actually, I probably could, because I'm looking at my screen on, so the brand quiz, what I can do that one because it's right in front of me. So I'll put the one where you can register your interest on the kind of brand quiz page in the Facebook comments. I've just dropped those in there. And let me just see if I can quickly also find the link to the Huna intro. I think it's hunaintro.eventbrite.com, but let me double check because I've got so many Eventbrite pages. Yeah, hunaintro.eventbrite.com. And I'm just about to drop that into the Facebook thread as well. And I will add them to I'll add them to the YouTube link. So that's it. So let me just refresh and see if there are any comments, any queries, any questions before I bring this to a close. I just wanted to test out the live streaming. I want to see for myself the picture quality. I want to hear what the sound quality is like. It should be using the RMTP stream key, so I think it should be pretty good, but you never know. Sorry, the post from Sheena has just popped up on my screen. That is just ace. And Sheena, I don't hold back. I'm just like, whoa, did anybody else see that? But that's a brilliant one. I love it. So let me just check and see if there are any comments. I don't think there are any comments. Someone's protection system pauses videos. So that might be one. I'll just feed that back to the BM team and see what they say. Oh, and Ange has shared this video. Thank you so much, Anne. I really appreciate it. That is absolutely wonderful. So yeah, if you would like to come and experience the Huna magic for yourself, join us for the Mind, Body, Spirit Energy Fest in December, mbsenergyfest.eventbrite.com. So that's on Saturday the 1st and Sunday the 2nd of December. So that's a 2-day event, and what are we doing actually? Let me tell you while I'm here, because I now have the list, having spent a couple of days planning with the clairvoyant that I invite in to speak as well. And let me give you a little rundown. It's in my notes section. In no particular order, we were just brainstorming. So we're doing a thing about looking at your deeper sphere. I'm telling you now, that's going to be deep. I had the idea and I looked and I went, is that too much? Is that too deep? And we both went, yeah, but let's do it. So that's going to be very cool. You're going to be playing the Game of Life game. If you played that with Gina before, you know what I mean. We're going to do a review of last year's Letters to Self. We're focusing on 2 words that are pivotal for 2019. I'm not going to tell you what those 2 words are, but when you hear them, you'll be like, whoa, because Gina's a clairvoyant. We're going to be doing the silver linings exercise. We're going to be cutting the ties. We're going to do some Ho'oponopono. We're going to do Huna and Access Consciousness, looking at clairvoyant and psychic influences for closing off this year, and also looking into the year ahead. Going to be very cool. We're going to use your soul plan reports, because everyone who attends gets a free soul plan report. So we're going to be looking at your soul plan report as a diagnostic tool and a guide. I'm not going to say too more about that now. Of course, I'll explain it on the day. So I have emailed you all today actually saying, bring your soul plan report with you. Bring your letter with you as well if you were there last year. And what I would also like you to do, if you use a calendar on your phone or your device, the likelihood is you're going to have it with you anyway. If you don't, and you're somebody who maybe has an old school diary, bring that with you, because that's going to be key and pivotal to what we're looking at in terms of our review and setting up the future. So what else? We're going to be doing the silver cord of life, and I've written in brackets to push the negative energy down and draw the positive energy up. So that's the process that was created by Gina. We're going to be doing the writing a new script. Oh, yes, we're going to also be doing the future of untold riches, health, success, and confidence, which is very exciting. Might do some stuff around past lives. We haven't decided yet. That one's in brackets. Also very unusual, but you know, we thought this would be very cool. We're going to do some tea leaf reading as well, because Gina is a clairvoyant and psychic and has been since she was 3 years old, and she's now not, you know, just into her 60s. So really, when I say lifelong psychic, I'm not kidding you. And then we're going to do an energy boost into your future timeline and pick up some of the principles of the masterminding as well, and the power of the collective consciousness. So a fair few things we're going to be doing. So that is the Mind, Body, Spirit Energy Fest first weekend in December if you want to join us. The photo reading goes live for Black Friday, so there'll be a very special deal for that. The page is already up. if you wanted to have a look, if you wanted to bookmark it. So I'll drop that into the thread as well. And we do the bonus belief change session for the HUNA and Access Consciousness on the Friday night from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. because I've just found it just makes learning photo reading so much easier. So that's that opportunity. So yeah, you've got a few opportunities to do it in person, to experience it for yourself. And of course, if you want to do one-to-one sessions, then I do those via telephone or Skype. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for the feedback also for those of you who are watching. That is absolutely brilliant and wonderful. Thank you for the shares. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the likes. And also, if you are watching this either live or as a replay, if you know someone who could benefit from some of these trainings and courses and the energy clearing work, feel free to like this video. Feel free to share this video, or at least point people in the right direction. That will be wonderful. Because you know, word of mouth, and particularly if you've experienced the HUNA for yourself, then you know, telling people about your experiences of it is really powerful also. So that would be wonderful if you wanted to kind of like and share it and tell other people about it. So yeah, cool. Thank you for joining me for the test. I'm going to watch this back. Well, not all of it. I'll watch a little bit back. I don't need to sit and watch all of myself, but I'll watch a little bit back just to see what the quality is like, just to see what the streaming is like. Oh, hi Sonia. Thank you so much for joining me. That is wonderful. So yeah, I think it's all cooking with gas. I'm really liking this because last time it was a bit complicated. You had to put the RMTP key in, you had to put the stream keys in, and then do some other stuff and come over to Facebook, and oh god, but now they've just got one click. So I'm loving the way this platform is evolving and growing, and I'm really looking forward to, because I've got about 20 workshops planned for next year that I'm going to actually run via video webinar. So some of you have experienced that already. I've done 4 or 5 webinar trainings, including a full 2.5-day photo reading workshop a couple of weeks ago. And the feedback from that was exactly the same as when I run it in person. And surprisingly, even after 22.5 hours, we did like Friday afternoon and then 9:30 to 7:30 p.m. on Saturday and on the Sunday. On the Friday night, on the Saturday night, and on the Sunday night, people were still focused, energized on it, feeling amazing. And that is fantastic, because that's a long time to sit at your desk. But with that, we have PowerPoint slides, and I can deliver handouts into the room, and you know, there's a chat room, there's also the facility for switching on your video, switching on your webcam. So I'm going to do a lot of the workshops that I previously run as in-person workshops. I'm going to do them as video webinars for people who haven't been able to get to Watford. I know I've got lots of people who live abroad, out in the United States and America and across Europe, and so it'll be your opportunity to be in the training room, just the virtual version. And those, somebody was asking, am I going to stream those live? If they're paid workshops, no. If I'm just doing an intro, then yeah, I can use this facility for streaming live. But paid workshops is a closed workshop, but using the video webinar platform. And with the one that with the one I did with Gina for the Mind Body Spirit Energy Fest, we did an experiential last week where Gina talked about some of the clairvoyant influences. We took you on a tour of the past 7 years of the MBS Energy Fest. I also talked about how and why it came into being. And I also did an angel tarot card reading, and I did some HUNA energy clearing during it as well. That's a free one to watch. So what I'll do is I'll put the link into Facebook, and I'll also add the link to YouTube as well if you wanted to watch that, just so you get a sense of what the video webinar platform is like when you use it in the context for a training. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much to everyone who is already signed up to attend these events, or you're going to be coming and joining us next year. And I will catch you all later. So heading back now to the webinar room I think I just press end broadcast. So yeah, I'm going to do, oh yeah, okay. So I'm just kind of getting a sense of where everything is in terms of the layout. So there's end broadcast for Facebook, there's an end broadcast for this, and then there's an end broadcast for the webinar. Seriously, this is, look, actually, let me just do, if I I do that, where am I looking? So if I do that, I'm going to put I can put a screenshot in just so you. Oh, hang on, I can't because somebody just sent me a message. So there we go. So I'm going to put a thing in just so you can see what I see, because I know some of you, I told you about another webinar deal last week, which was a lifetime deal. So some of you have got that one. Similar kind of setup. Yay, cool. Well, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you all later. Bye bye.